welcome to the Spectacular Spoiler Show. My name is Victoria Jacobson Branch, and I am here with Mike.
Hey.
And Jeremy Branch.
Hi.
And thanks for tuning in. We watched the movie Unfriended, and just checking to see what your general thoughts were of the movie. What do you think, Jeremy?
Well, first, let's warn everybody real quick. This is a spoiler review, so if you don't want to know the plot twist of this movie, go ahead and just add us to your favorites list or your watch later list and come back and check us out after you've seen the movie. However, I will go ahead and tell you, you're not really missing out on much by going ahead and having this movie spoiled for you. So, with that being said, welcome to the conversation. Man, my general thoughts about Unfriended. From the opening credits to I knew I was in for trouble. I mean, the movies that this movie was advertising for looked like shit. And then getting into the movie, it was horrible acting, horrible production job. It's a murder mystery where you find out that the killer's a ghost within the first 5 minutes. I mean, the only thing that supports these kind of movies to me is if there's some element of surprise as to which of the people in the group is responsible for all the murders, where in this movie, right off the bat, you know none of them have anything to do with it. So it's just the suspense and the murder mystery element was totally sucked out of it. It was a generic movie that was shot all through a laptop computer screen, which was probably cheap for the producers. And I'd imagine that's probably what it all came down to at the end of the day.
Yeah. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, that was more the same. You're watching a computer screen basically the whole time, and I feel like if you'd never been on Facebook before or been on a Macintosh computer, a lot of it wouldn't have made sense. The people all just stood there and waited as they're all picked off by some ghost demon. Like you said, they reveal exactly who it is, killing everyone the whole time.
And her name was Laura, not to be confused with Laura Palmer from Twin Peaks, because that movie or that TV show actually didn't suck. I guess there were a couple of things that did work about the movie to me. Like what you said about it, we're kind of on the cusp of being able to understand a lot of the tech jargon and a lot of the internet browsing. It's really fast-paced social media interactions, and there's a lot of the Skyping and stuff going on. So like I was thinking for maybe people a little bit older than us, it'd be like a great tutorial to go in and actually learn how to properly navigate the internet. But as far as a scary movie, it was a fail of epic proportions.
Yeah, it didn't really leave you with a mystery like you guys were saying. You already knew, who was doing it, sort of, is the ghost. But, the storytelling, I guess, was sort of clever because they only used, instant messaging or Skype to tell this entire story. Like, you were looking at a computer screen for the whole movie, which was, an interesting format.
A cool gimmick.
Yeah, it's different and definitely wouldn't cost a lot. You're just basically filming a computer screen, but
what did you think about the glitching stuff that was going on the screen through the whole movie? Did that add to or take away?
It's like every time someone was going to be killed or the ghost was starting to interfere, that you wouldn't see their screen, and then they would be killed, show themselves kill themselves on the screen or whatever. It just I'm never going to get that $10 back.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was really impressed with the movie after it was said and done. There was one scene that we were kind of all afterwards. Like, there was one gnarly kill scene in it where a guy sticks his hand in the blender, and that was about as intense or as shocking as it got. There might have been one other jump scare in it, but it's funny because laptop computers are definitely not really known for having good sound quality without external speakers, yet every time something falls in the background or a door closes, it sounds like, full-on high-def theater sound. So there were some inconsistencies, obviously, in the sound design, but it's like when you think about going to see a movie like Avengers in IMAX and you pay the same price to go in and watch a movie that's basically like surfing the web at your house, it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, if the storyline was more interesting, I could understand sitting there watching 5 people chat for 2 hours, but, when the storyline just wasn't intriguing enough, like it didn't leave you like, oh, I'm curious about this, but...
Was there a scene that stuck out to you?
I mean, the whole movie was kind of it was all one scene.
Sure.
It felt like it just went the whole time, and that kind of got boring to me. I kind of felt myself drifting off almost fell asleep at one point because it, like he said, it was like watching myself on the internet browsing with my friends on iChat, and that just didn't keep me interested. You know, you would look at everybody's little screens on the bottom, and maybe something was going to happen to one of them, and it did. You know, the ghost picked one of the bullies off one at a time, and it was very predictable.
Yeah, it sure was. You knew who the last people standing were going to be.
If I'm going to watch, you know, a horror movie, I either want it to be realistic, because that's what scares me.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to be realistic, make the supernatural thing be so scary that I can almost believe the supernatural thing.
True.
And it laid right in the middle of both of those things, and it just, like I said, it just didn't keep me interested.
If you are a horror genre fan, I am sorry for the movies that you're going to have to endure for the next couple months. I've grown up loving horror movies, but if I have to see one more fucking found footage possession movie, it's ridiculous. They keep on remaking The Exorcist for diminishing returns. We saw 3 Exorcist knockoff previews before this movie today. It's pitiful.
Yeah, it was all the same movie over and over.
And then this thing's like some sort of demon / like ghost.
Yeah, right.
So it's to come at you from 2 fronts. Not only was it something that was alive that died, now it's something that's possessing other people
and can get inside you. Yeah,
to kill themselves. They all die. You think that the one girl is going to make it out in the end,
the last girl,
and then she, you know, then the ghost really comes after her for betraying her as a friend, being the one that actually posts the video of the dead girl, and so it's a revenge flick, you know.
Not a gratifying one though in that way, because you're kind of rooting for just everybody to get it in the end of the movie. And I guess that's a lot of the appeal about horror movies. They don't cast a bunch of like likable people in it, so that you don't get emotionally attached to them, so that when they die you kind of cheer. And there's a little bit of that going on.
Really care.
I will say one thing that, as like trying to pull some positives out of this movie, one thing that I thought was a neat little device that they did is to see a person type their initial thoughts and reaction, and then backspace and correct it and adjust and amend their thoughts to try to either
like when
be
you're in a
more
Facebook chat,
right, and to see other people's motivations and how they would do the same thing. I thought that was a kind of interesting way of showing the thoughts behind the thoughts of characters that weren't really very well developed.
Or when they're showing like the 3 dots and they're just waiting on the other end, like what's the ghost gonna say? Like everybody's got that moment where you're sitting at your cell phone and you're like, they're typing me, but I don't see anything.
And you always wonder, what is the other person chatting about?
Yeah.
And then the ghost would be, or ghost or demon, whatever we're gonna call this thing, was sending each person individual messages and then throwing out stuff to get all the people to turn against each other. But it was sort of like a Survivor Island thing, where if any of you leave, you all die.
Right.
But they could at least tried, because in the end they all died anyway. So
Sold each other out, all died. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I guess we've gotten to the rating part of our review. So, which is out of 10. What do you think, Jeremy?
I mean, after all of the stuff that we've discussed, and considering this is almost, it's like kind of like Paranormal Activity, it's almost its own genre of movie. Blair Witch Project, found footage movies, they're their own thing. It's hard to throw them in the pot with other movies, but just as far as 1 to 10, how much did I enjoy this movie? I would say like a 3.5, and as far, not as much as I've enjoyed bagging it afterwards, for sure.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm 1.5, 2.5.
Nice.
1 to 3 somewhere. I'd say a solid 2.
Nice. What about you?
Yeah, I gotta agree with you guys. This wasn't up there. Like, it wasn't really an interesting story. You're looking at a computer screen. It didn't really draw you in. So I'd say 2.5, 3 at most.
Go to Netflix, watch The Den. If you want to see a good version of this movie, just watch The Den on Netflix. It was actually a kind of clever retelling of the same movie. And unfriend this movie. Do not go and watch it. Don't send your money.
If they'll let you unfriend
somebody
it.
would have to pay me $10
to go see
to watch that again.
Yeah, it's definitely not rewatchable.
No. All right.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in and watching our spectacular spoiler show that comes to you once a week from Jeremy G. Branch's Be Terrible Studios YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, follow, comment. Tell us what you guys thought. You might have had different opinions than we did.
For sure. Talk to you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.
Good job, Nathan.
Bye.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.